Good afternoon. Today we will take off this unit 13 of block 4 management of machines and materials. Yes, almost as you know, almost all organizations used to store a large number of items because inventory is a must for all organizations because there is an inventory of finished product, there is an inventory of raw materials. So some of these have relatively longer life. For example, buildings, plants, equipment, machines, and furniture. While others in a rather large number, running into lakhs, spend shorter time with the organization. For example, materials, raw materials, their component, tools, and stationery. So in the introduction, I want to highlight that there are certain say items which is kept or stored for a longer period of time, that is building plant, and there are certain items which only spends a very short time. For example, materials, raw material, once it comes, it is say used for processing. Components, tools, stationery, papers, all these are temporarily stored. So we shall concentrate mainly on materials and parts. Several departments of the organization require information about the materials, and their requirements are usually different from each other. For example, it is very easy to visualize how information requirement may have a little wide spectrum by department, such as receipt, storage, inspection, designing, engineering, inventory, accounts, and marketing, etc. about a given material. Some departments are interested in the size, volume, and shape. Some 400 materials management in engineering properties, some in financial aspect, while some in commercial value of the materials. So the several departments require information about materials, and their requirements are usually different from each other. That means the informations each department requires about the materials may not be same as the other department. For example, it is easy to visualize a quite wide spectrum such as receipt, storage, when the items are received, how it is stored, how it is inspected, how it is designing, and in engineering inventory. Some departments interested in the size. What is the size of the material? What is the volume of the material? What is the shape? And some 400 materials management engineering property. And some are interested in financial aspect, that is at what price the materials are bought, and is there any discount in the items, while some in commercial value of the materials. So the information vary from say department to department. So today we'll discuss a classification. When you talk about materials, we talk about classification is defined as the process of arranging things in groups or classes according to their resemblance and affinities, and give expression to the unity of attributes that may subsist among a diversity of individuals. So classification starts in the statistical, is a statistical tool we have read in statistics. Say once the data are collected and the data are classified, how do you classify it? We classified the data according to certain common resemblance, common characteristics, or grouping of things of similar things is called your classification. When you group things according to a particular resemblance or affinities, and the attributes are same for all these, we can, the attributes that, suppose for example, all students whose mark is between say 20 to 30, they belong to a particular group, we have classified them. Or we can say that those students who have between say more than 60% mark, first class students, we have classified them. So classified according to their resemblance, according to the attributes which may be there in an individual, or when you come to our production and operation management, we classified various items, parts according to their resemblance or according to their similarities. So why do company go for classification? What is the need for classification? Is classification has certain say advantages if you don't classify the items or these say spare parts or anything? Is there any? So the major objectives of classification to devise procedures for planning and controlling for materials in a class. Suppose in a class, some students who's not doing well, I have classified them and kept them in one group so that I can give more attention to the students. I can give more attention to the students so that they can do well in the examination in the next time. Similarly, when I classified a particular, for example, I can say high value items I have classified in a particular group. So therefore, I can have a better planning and control of these materials. To devise process procedures, inspection methods, storing and issuing procedures common to all materials in a class. To devise a accounting and evaluation procedure common to all materials in a class. So, first is to devise procedures of planning and control for materials in a class. That means, how do you plan and control the materials in a particular class? Second is to devise the purchase procedures. How do you say purchase the materials? From what sources you purchase the materials? How do you inspect the materials? Whether the materials are good or bad or it will be rejected. How do you store the materials? How do you issue the issuing procedures? And common to all materials in a class. To devise accounting and evaluation procedures common to all materials in a class. So, on the basis of nature of materials, we can classify. What is the basis of classifying the? So, what type of items you have? What is the nature of the materials? First nature is raw material. Raw materials which is purchased from the original producer or other producers and are used directly in producing the farm's product. For example, cotton and yarn are raw material for cotton textile mills. For the help in producing final product, cloth. Cotton is purchased from the original producer and then cotton grower, where yarn is produced from other manufacturers, spinners. The product in one trade may become the raw materials for the other trade. So basically, raw material is considered an input. What is input? Input is that which is used for processing to get the final output. So sometimes what happens, raw materials may be purchased from the original producers or it may be purchased from the other manufacturers. For I have given here an example, cotton and yarn. Cotton is required, both cotton and yarn are raw materials for cotton textile mills and they help to in producing the final product cloth. But cotton is purchased from the original producer. That means the farmers who grow cotton, whereas yarn is produced from other manufacturers, spinners. So here what happened? The final product of the spinners become the raw material for the cotton producer. So the final output of one producer may be the input of another producer. Yes. Then machinery and equipment, all the machinery, both power and hand driven, such as presses, lathe machine, typewriter, electric motors, fans, other machines used in production and other department is classified as such. Tools also come under this category. They are issued on loan basis to the various departments for a definite period, generally till their lifetime. So second type of items are machinery and equipment. All manufacturing units or service unit, they require some type of machinery and equipment. This machinery and equipment may be power driven or it may be hand driven. I have given you some examples of lathe machines. Typewriters are generally hand, electric motor, fans, other machines. They are used in production of our department. Sometimes tools is also come under this machinery and equipment. Say hammer is a tool, screwdriver is a tool, and these are say issued to the on loan basis to the various department for a definite period, generally till their lifetime. So first is your raw materials. Raw materials are inputs which are used in the production of a final product. Raw materials can be purchased from the final producer, from other manufacturers. Similarly, machinery and equipments are those which also help in the production process. Machinery and equipment may be your power driven machinery or hand driven machinery, isn't it? So tools also come under this machinery and equipment. Tools are issued on loan basis to the various department for a definite period. Then consumable items, those materials used in manufacturing process which cannot be used for the second time for the same purpose, since their utility for the purpose in question has ceased, and that means stopped, and the shape change are referred to as consumable items. Coal, coke, mineral oil, lubricants, cotton waste, paints, varnishes, oxygen, stationery items like pencils, paper, carbon, paper and ink, etc. are a few examples of these consumable items. So, consumable items are those which has one time use. That means once it is used, then its utility is lost. Its utility has stopped. We cannot use for the second time. So this type of items come under consumable items. And we have given examples. I have given examples. Consumable coal. Coals once used in a factory, then its utility is lost. Coke, mineral oils, lubricants. Once you use the lubricants in your machinery, cotton waste, then paints. When you use the paints, varnishes, oxygen, and when you use the stationery like pencils, paper, carbon papers and ink, they have one-time use. And a few examples of the consumable items. So three items I have discussed. First is raw material, second is machinery and equipment, third one is consumable items. And consumable items are used in manufacturing process which cannot be used for the second time for the same purpose, since their utility for the purpose is lost and the shape change is referred to as consumable items. Then comes chemicals. Substance obtained after undergoing certain processes in chemistry according to a formula devised for the purpose may be known as chemical. They should be stored, preserved and issued very cautiously after a careful scrutiny and proper analysis, since their use involve risks even to life. Items like carbide, acid, salts, etc. can be classified under. What is chemical? Chemicals are the substance which is after a chemical process, after some chemical process according to a formula, certain things comes out, and these are known as chemicals. Then chemicals can be stored and they can be preserved and issued very cautiously, because if it comes to the human contact, or it say sometimes it is also harm to the human beings, so it should be used very cautiously. It should be used very say risk free way, otherwise it may harm the human life. So items which go chemical processes is called according to a particular formula devised for the purpose may be known as chemical. And mind you, chemical can be stored and preserved and issued but it can issued very cautiously after a careful scrutiny. So items like carbon, acids are coming under this. Then inflammable items highly susceptible to fire such as petrol, kerosene, films, dopes and paints fall under the category. Due to their hazardous nature, they are generally stored as far as possible from the main building with complete firefighting arrangement standing by. So inflammable items means which is susceptible to fire. That means it can catch fire if it comes in contact with fire, such as petrol, kerosenes, films. So these are called hazardous products, or their hazardous nature. They are generally stored from the main building, because if in by chance any accident occurs, if if they come into contact with fire, then there is a possibility the whole building may be say damaged. So therefore, in order to avoid this risk, what generally the operations managers or the production manager, they store these products far away from from the main building with complete firefighting arrangement. That means there should be with a firefighting arrangements. They make all firefighting arrangements. Fire extinguishers are there. If there is any fire catches fire, then is able to extinguish the say fire immediately. Then fuel stock. There are also consumable items, but there is a slight difference between the two in respect of that. So fuel stock, for the first time I am saying fuel stock is also a consumable item, but there is a difference between the two in respect of their uses. When an item is directly used for production, is a fuel for the furnace and oven, it is called as fuel stock. It is necessary item for completing, rather starting the manufacturing process. And of course, one of the important items in a manufacturing unit, but it can never constitute the finished product. So fuel stock is when the item is directly used for production and is a fuel for the furnace and oven, it is called as fuel stock. That means consumable items may not be directly used, but fuel stock is directly used by the organizations. So it is a necessary item for completing rather than starting the manufacturing process. So as I told you, lubrication is required for starting the machines, not for completing the machine. So for example, it is a necessary item for completing rather starting the manufacturing. Of course, one of the important items in the manufacturing unit. That means if fuel stock is not available, then the machines cannot run. But it can never constitute the finished product. But it cannot never constitute the finished product. So mind you, there is a difference between fuel stock and consumable item. Fuel stocks are directly used in the production, and it is the fuel for furnace and oven. Furnitures, movable contents of a house or a room like chairs, tables, almirahs, benches, stools, etc. are furniture items. Their repair, renewals and replacements also require proper maintenance of record since they are issued temporarily on loan basis. So furnitures are your movable items in a particular office or in a particular working place. We find a lot of furnitures. The furnitures may constitute the chairs to sit, tables to keep things or write something, almirahs to store some stationaries, benches. Also we keep benches for the visitors to sit, or some stools, or these are all etc. furniture items. These characteristics of this furniture, this can be repaired, this can be renewed, and this can be replaced also. If a stool is broken, we can replace one stool by another. Therefore, replacement also require proper maintenance and records since they are issued temporarily. So, then furniture are also issued by the store department on a temporary basis, temporarily on loan basis. So their repairs and renewals and replacement also require proper maintenance. We have to make a proper maintenance of the records. How many tables are there? How many chairs are there? Is there any chair has been replaced? When it is replaced, isn't it? Then which department has been issued how many tables, how many almirahs, how many benches? We have to maintain a particular records of all the furnitures that has been issued temporarily on loan basis. Yes. Then every manufacturing organization has scrap materials. On expiry of life of a particular item, the residue is called scrap. Such material is left over as waste in the process of production is also known as scrap. If scrap is sold out in the market so as to fetch some value out of it, Kavadis are the best purchasers of scrap in this country. Yes. It is very simple. Scrap materials means suppose some materials has a life expectancy, so 5 years or 10 years. After 5 years, on expiry of 5 years of a particular item, the item become a scrap. Such material is left over as also waste in the process of production. Such material is left over. The scrap is sometimes what the company do. The scrap they sell in the market so as to fetch some value out of it. But all scraps cannot be sold in the market. Now, who generally purchase these scraps? The kabadis are the best purchasers of the scrap in this country. Yes. So, we have, before going to the next slides, I will say again the items are classified on the basis of 4 to 5 category. First is your nature of the materials. First is your raw materials. Then comes your machinery and equipment. Then consumable items, chemical items, then inflammable items, then your fuel stock and furniture. Then lastly, it is scrap materials. So packaging materials. This includes all kinds of wrapping materials such as paper, wood carvings, sawdust, straw, etc. Containers like boxes, crates, drums, bottles, protective coatings such as wax, grease, or also plastic cans, also bags, etc. So there are certain materials which are packaged or wrapped off, wrapping of materials such as paper, wood carvings, sawdust and straw, etc. Containers like boxes, crates, drums and bottles, protective coatings are all used for packaging the materials. Then general items. This category includes all those items which do not fall under any of the above categories. In a large undertaking, general stores section is separated from other stores under an independent in charge since they cover a large number of items which, although not directly linked with the production process and require for day-to-day smooth and efficient running of the enterprise. Cleaning materials like soap, brush soap, brooms, uniforms for the staff, stationery, all other items of the general use are handled in the general store department. So, what is general? I have classified the item into 5 to 6 category: raw materials, equipments, say fuel stock, furnitures, all these items. Beside this, we have another item that is called general item. Who are general items? General items are those who do not fall under any of the above categories. Any of the above categories. And there are lot of general items in an organization. Therefore, what the company does is they separate the general store section from the other stores and they keep an independent persons in charge of that general stores. And sometimes these items may not be directly linked with the production process, but they are required for day-to-day smooth and efficient running. Examples of general items: soaps. Soaps are cleaning hand, brush soap, brooms. Brooms are cleaning the floor, uniforms for the staff, stationery, paper, pen, pencils, your staplers, and all other items of general use are handled in general stores department. Yes, serviceable. Now, unserviceable and obsolete items. Serviceable, unserviceable, and serviceable items are those items which do go temporarily out of order. And repairing and replacement, they may become serviceable again, and their usable life may thus be extended for some more time. Unserviceable items are those items which have outlived their life. No amount of repairs, renewals, or replacement can bring them back to their usual life. They are thus fit only for disposable as scrap. And obsolete items are those which have gone out of date because of new inventories in design and use, etc., which cannot profitably be used again. So this slide talks about the 3 types of items. This is serviceable item, unserviceable item and obsolete items. Now, first of all, I will discuss what is serviceable item. Serviceable items are those items they may get, say temporarily, they may go temporarily out of order, and after doing a service, after say correcting the defects, whatever may be there in the items, that again become serviceable again, and their life may be expensive. Suppose an electric fan, sometimes maybe its wiring or is say some kind of problem may happen to a electric fan, but after the repair, the electric fan may say again it will do the same service that it was doing before it was going out of order. Unserviceable items are, there are certain items which cannot be serviced, which cannot be rectified. For example, an item has lived for 10 years, 10 years, 25 years. A car has lived for, as a vehicle has lived for 25 years. They've outlived their life. No amount of repairs, renewals or replacement can bring them to their usual life. So they become the scrap. So as a scrap, we have to dispose of it anything. And what is obsolete items? Obsolete items are those items which has become outdated. Why it has become outdated? Because new inventories have come. Now, for example, your black and white TV has become obsolete item. Your black and white TV, or your now the color TV with picture tube technology has become, say, outdated. Nobody is using that, and which cannot be profitably used again. So obsolete items are those items which have gone out of date because of new inventories in design and use. TV is the best example, or your computers is the best example of coming under obsolete items, because there is a lot of inventories, there are a lot of development, inventions in computers, in your say mobile phone, in your say I talk about this, lot of say TV, electronic products come under the obsolete items. And finished and semi-finished goods. Finished items are those goods which has been manufactured in complete form by the production department, are ready for sale. Finished goods are those which are ready for the use of the consumers. On the other hand, semi-finished goods are generally called work in progress. That means the work has not been completed. Semi-finished are those which have not been manufactured completely, need some more processing before they can be put to sell in the market. And they are thus taken back by the production department for turning them into a final product. So there are certain finished and semi-finished items. So, but basic difference is that finished items are those goods which are used, which has been manufactured, and they have gone through the complete process of production and they are ready for sale in the market. On the other hand, semi-finished items are those which have not been manufactured completely and need some further processing before they can be put to sell in the market. A dead stock item. This term is generally used in government department, furniture, equipment, machinery and other items which have some definite life and which cannot be written off before the expiry date of their life and are classed as dead stock item. They are issued temporarily on known basis to their users. So dead stock items are generally used in government departments. Furniture, equipment, machinery and other items have definite life and which cannot be written off before the expiry date of their, and these items are classified as dead stock item. These are also issued temporarily on loan basis to their users. There are certain unused items. These are not stock items in the real sense of the term. This cannot be used in production unit because being defective, damaged, beyond use, or because some other reason they have been rendered unusable. Sometimes unused stocks are mistaken for scrap and unserviceable, but this is not the real position. Scraps are generally left out items from the production unit. They cannot be used as either they are less in quantity, but unserviceable items are movable items which can be rendered unserviceable by constant use and are now beyond repair. So, unused items are the real sense of the are not stock items in the real. These items cannot be used in the production unit because of certain defect, because of some damage. Suppose your materials have come in transit, it is in damage, so it becomes unused items. So we cannot say that it is stock. We have to refund it. Sometimes what happens, we say that mistakenly we say that unused items are same as that of unserviceable items. But this is not a scrap item. Scrap comes out after in the production process. And serviceable, unserviceable materials are those which has been used for a large period of time. These are all movable items which have been rendered unserviceable because of constant use, because we have used for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. Now they are beyond repair. That is called unserviceable. But unused items are those items which has been damaged, which has been defective, and because of the damage or defective or because of some other reasons, they have been rendered unusable. That means they cannot be used further. Then, after classification, we go to codification. Codification is a process of representing each item by a group of numbers and alphabets indicating the group, the subgroup, the type and dimension of the item. So codification has defined, say, work or different purpose. We codify the items for representing each item by a group of numbers. Generally, when you codify, we codify with a group of numbers and alphabets. And the group, the subgroup, and the type. Now, in a codification, we codify the group, and under the group, what are the subgroups, what are the type and dimensions of the item. The number of digits in a code may typically somewhere between 8 and 13. So, number of digits in a code may typically be, say, somewhere between 8 and 13. The role of the digits and some fundamental principle of codification can be understood from the following example. So, digit 1 to 2 signifies major group. Suppose, what are the major groups? Raw materials, spare parts, subcontracted items, hardware items, packing materials, tools, oil, stationery. Then 3 to 4 subgroups, ferrous items and non-ferrous. 5 to 7 dimensional characteristics, length, width, head diameter. 8 speaks about minor variations. 9 speaks about the location of storage. 10 to 11 user department of the organization. 12 product or product lines requiring the items. 13 any other invention of inventory, accounting and purchase. So we have used 13 letters and each, say 13 not letter, 13 say digits 1 to 13, and each group of digit or each digit has certain implications. So digit 1 to 2 specifies which of the major group. 3 to 4 specify the subgroup. 5 to 7 specify the dimensional characteristics. What is the length, what is the width, and the digit 8 speaks about the minor variations. Digit 9 location and digit 10 to 11 speaks about the department of the organization. Digit 12 product or product lines requiring the item, and 13 any other information if you want to give we can specify in 13. This is merely an illustration of codification process. The codification process can be based on other aspects. The code could be obtained by the nature of the items in grouping all items of the same metal content, say ferrous, non-ferrous. The system could be built sometimes on the basis of the end use of items, say maintenance, spinning, foundry, welding, packing, and machine shop, etc. The codification could be thought of on the basis of source of purchasing, where items obtained from one source are grouped together. The codification could also be built on the basis of alphabetical listing. So the codes could be obtained by nature of the items. So grouping all ferrous items are given one code. All non-ferrous items are given one code. System could be built on the basis of the end use of the item. Say, if the items are used for maintenance, spinning, foundry, welding, and machine shop, the codification could be thought of on the basis of source of purchasing, from which source the materials have been purchased. Say, where items obtained from one source are grouped together. The codification could also be built on the basis of alphabetical listing. Now, what are the objectives of codification? So, as classification has certain objectives, codification has also similar objectives of codification in order to identify the items correctly and logically for processing the transaction and to facilitate each location in the store. A codification system should be evolved with the following objectives. So, why do company go for codification? Because to identify the items correctly, you don't go and search the items one by one. If there is a code, we can easily search the items logically for processing the transactions and to facilitate each location, and we can facilitate where the items are located. So first objective is accurate and logical identification. A separate code is allotted to each of the items available in the storehouse, indicating the size, quality, price, usability, special characteristics, and specification, etc. This distinguishes one item from the other. Even if nomenclature is the same, helps in accurate identification and eliminates any possibility of confusion. So, to overcome the possibility of confusions, to overcome the problem of identifications, we generally go for codification. A separate code is allotted to each of the items, indicating the size. What is the size? Accordingly, what is the quality? What is the price? Usability. So this distinguishes by have a proper coding, we can distinguish the items one from the another. For example, a lead pencil, black color, HB quality for writing purpose and within a price range of 3 to 350, may we have code 07391236, where 07 indicates the group stationary item, 3 indicates the pencil, line indicates lead pencil, 1 indicates lead color black, 2 indicates the quality, that is HB, 3 indicates the what for is for writing, 6 indicates the price range. Any product which has a price range of 3 to 350 is given a code of 6. Anything which is used for writing is given a code of 3. Anything, any pencil with a lead color black, it is given a 1. And 9 indicates the lead. If any lead pencil is given, 3 indicates pencil and 9 indicates the lead pencil. So this is how the codification is done. So if I see a 0739136, I can easily know that it is a pencil and it is a stationary item. And what type of pencil? It is a lead pencil. What is the color of the pencil? It is a black color pencil. And it is a black color as well as a HB pencil. And 3 is not very, say pencil is always used for writing. And what is the price? I can from the number, from the code, I can easily know that the price is between somewhere between 3 to 350. Yes, prevention of duplication. All items are separately codified and arranged in a logical order. Similar materials are grouped together, such as stationary items are given a code 7. Once a code is allotted to a particular group, it is a decision on the organizational level and in no case it is changed. Since each item has a different code number and various items are kept in different bins at different places, there can be no duplication in placing the orders and no piling of the materials will take place in the storerooms. So, codification is very useful for prevention of duplications. For example, in our example, 07 stands for stationary items. So, all the stationary items are given a code of 7. And once this code is given for the stationary items, it cannot be changed. It is a decision on an organizational level, and no case it is a change. It is a decision which is taken at the organizational level, not at the floor level. Since each item has a different code number and various items are kept in different bins and different places, all say stationary items are kept in one bin in different places, there can be no duplication in placing the orders. Yes, standardization and reduction in variety. For codification, grouping of identical items is done and it enables the store to examine the entire range of items. So stationary item, raw materials, equipments. So then how many group of items are there? We can easily know it. For codification, grouping of identical items is done and it enables the stores to examine the entire range of items. So what are the entire range of items are there in a particular, say, store or in a particular workplace? We can easily know by what are the codification. So it facilitates the elimination of those varieties in place of which other varieties of the like quality can be used. This reduces the number of varieties to minimum. If proper standardization is achieved, number of items is kept at the minimum. It will considerably reduce investment in various items as well as the cost of inventory carrying. So codification is very useful for standardization and reduction of varieties. Efficient purchasing, the filling of purchasing requisition, preparation of purchase orders are simplified by the use of codes which easily indicates the materials required. Buying instructions to the suppliers become easy and quick. If there is proper understanding of the codification by the supplier, then there will be very efficient purchasing. The entire operation of the purchase department can be organized according to the grouping of items. In centralized purchasing, such a system serves well in dealing with purchase order. So, if you codify the items, then it is very easy to fill up the purchase requisition because we only mention the code in the purchase requisition. We don't need the write the say I don't mention the HB pencils black color, HB pencil black color, all these things I don't need to write. I just put the number and preparation purchase orders are simplified by the use of codes. Which so if I put the codes in the purchase requisition, the buying the suppliers can easily know. But one requirement is there: if the suppliers can easily understand the codification. So the entire operations of purchase department can be organized according to the grouping of item, and in centralized purchasing, coding takes a yes. Efficient recording and accounting. Codes lead to effective stock control, efficient recording, and result yielding accounting. Chances of mistakes are minimized. Prices and valuation also become more accurate and reliable. So, efficient recording and accounting. Codes also lead to efficient stock control, efficient recording, and result yielding accounting. Chances of mistakes are minimized. Prices and valuations also become more accurate. Easy locating. Yes, in a store, if the items are coded and the indexing and inspection, the materials in the stores have to be kept in order. which may facilitate their placement and location. For making it less time and energy consuming, items may be arranged according to the codes allotted to them. This would also facilitate a quick and efficient inspection. So, for making it less time and energy consuming, say items may be arranged into according to the codes. See, if the items are not say arranged according to the codes, then it is becomes a tiresome job. It becomes a difficult job to locate the items. We have to go and search each and each item. It becomes a tiresome job. So by each coding, we get a easy location where the product is located. We can easily know it by a proper coding. Easy computerization, small size computers such as personal computers find their wide applications in materials management. These computers work better with codes than with long description of materials. Yes. Then we come to essential features of codifications. There could be many possible arrangements of coding, symbols, numbers, alphabet, which can be used to design a code. However, a great deal of thought must be going to coding scheme if it is to satisfy a variety of users. So, when you talk about essential features of coding system, there are many possible arrangements of coding. There are many possible ways of coding the item, coding symbols. Numbers we use, alphabets we use, which can be used to design a code. But a great deal of thought must go into the coding scheme if it is to be satisfy all the users. Then we have to be analytically think what is the procedures of coding scheme. First one is brevity. The codification system should avoid long and unwieldy description. This implies that code should consist of minimum possible number of digits. The size of the code could normally be dictated by number, range of items, the number and type of application of the data. For example, for the pencil code, the last digit representing the price range may be deleted if such information is not needed. So first is saying is brevity. That means as far as possible, the code should be simple and the code should be say minimum. We should use minimum numbers, minimum alphabets. The size of the code would be normally be detected by the number and range of items. The number and type of application of the data pertaining to the item. So the above examples where we have discussed 07391236, the digit 6 speaks about the price range, and this 6 it can be minimized by deleting 6 because if the price is not required, price range may not be, if price range is not required, so it may be deleted. So first characteristics of essential feature, when you codify an item, we should try to say code the items by using minimum number, minimum symbols, minimum coding symbols. It may be numbers or alphabets. So this size of the code would normally be detected by the number and range of items. So in the above example, 6 may be deleted. Logical. Yes, the second important feature is logical. The coding should be logically fit for the needs of the users and methods of data processing employed. For the employee of pencil code, the last digit representing price range should have the increasing price range with the value of the digit increasing. That is, value of the digit as 8 may indicate a higher price range of say 4 to 450. So the coding system should be logical. Logical means it should be logically fit for the needs of the users. As in the previous example, I told you yes. The previous example I told you 1, 2, 3, 6, 6. So what is the logical sequence of the price range? If I say 8, it may indicate a higher price range, say 4 to 450. So the coding should be logical. It should be flexible. The code design should be flexible to accommodate changes without disturbing the existing code. We are familiar with the library coding system in which codes do not never get disturbed by addition of new books, and all books to come into future are easily accommodated by existing code structure. So the greatest feature of, most important feature of coding is flexibility. Flexibility means the design should be flexible to accommodate any changes without disturbing the existing codes. Library is the best example of flexibility. In a library, we have a existing course. All new books come in future and all are accommodated without disturbing the existing code structure. And uniqueness, the code must be a unique representation for the item. For example, inventory item number or employee ID code must identify one and only one inventory item. Yes, this is very important. Suppose in an organization, if one member is allotted to 2 or 3 employees, then this not unique. So this creates confusion, ambiguity. Similarly, in employee identification becomes difficult. Suppose when you apply for a leave or when you apply for any special privileges from the organizations, so employee identification codes are duplicated here. So it is important characteristic that it must be unique and it should imply to one and only individual or one and only inventory item. Yes, easy understandability. The code structure must be easily understood by various users. It should be simple, practical, and meaningful as possible. So the code structure should be understood by various users. It should be simple. It should be practical and proper choice of the coding symbol. While a code may have numbers, alphabets, or mixture of both, certain precautions should be taken in selection of symbols. Characters with similar appearances should be eliminated. For example, letters O, Z, I, S, V may be confused with the numbers 0, 2, 1, 5, U respectively, where possible letter that should be same should be avoided. For example, B, C, D, G, P, T, or M, N. These are all examples. So, while a code may have numbers, alphabets, but certain precautions should be taken in selection of symbols. So, characters similar appearances should be eliminated. Yes, layout of codes. The layout of codes should be equal in length. For example, a code of 011199 should be preferred over 1199 codes. Longer than 4 alphabets or 5 numeric should be divided into smaller segments for human judgment. So the layout of code should be equal in length. For example, the code of 001, because when the 001 is an equal length, because it may be 2, 3, 4, the number may go on increasing. So it should have an equal length, and code longer than 4 alphabet or 5 numeric characteristics should be divided into smaller segments, as I given in the example pencil. Yes, capacity of a system, where calculating the capacity of a given code for covering all situations while still maintaining code uniqueness, the following formula apply. C is equal to S multiplied with P, where C is the total available code combination possible. S is the number of unique characters in the set. P is the number of code positions. For example, 3-digit code with number 0 to 9 will have 03 is equal to 1000 unique codes combinations. The size of code structure, therefore, should be decided beforehand by anticipating the requirement of the unique combinations. So there is bricks system is based on numbers from 0 to 9 and consists of blocks, typically 3, separated by decimal points. These blocks are assigned specific classification of material. The first leftmost represent the major classification, such as raw material. Second block represent the next level, such as nature, use, quality, characteristics. While the third block represent the lowest level classification, such as the quality of the materials, its components, its physical, facial appearance, price availability, source of supply, marketability, and frequency of use, etc. The following examples for stationary items explain the Briggs system. The major item stationery is classified in four groups based on the nature of the item. Each group in the turn is divided into four subgroups. So in a Briggs sub system, what you do, it is based on the number 0 to 9 and consists of block. The first block talks about major classification. The second block talks about this represent the next level classification, while the third block represents the lowest level classification. And the system proceeds in the materials to be grouped together as to form a major group. The grouping should be accurate and unambiguous, should not overlap. It is based on classification system described in the previous system. After classification or preliminary grouping, the materials are further divided or subdivided. The basis of division or subdivision describe the materials in great detail as possible and simultaneously making them relevant to the users. The codes are assigned in three blocks separated by decimal points. So in a Briggs system, the codes are assigned in three blocks and separated by decimal point, and each block represents a particular characteristics. The total number of digits could be any as per convenience, but generally figure is 7. Then there is another system is Kodak system. Kodak system has been developed by Eastman Kodak Company of Newark. It's a company in Newark, USA, and it is a very comprehensive system. It consists of 10 digits, whereas the Briggs system consists of 9 digits, 0 to 9. It consists of 10 digits of numerical codes. The basis of the major or first level grouping is source of supply. That means here we code the items from the source of supply. For example, if the source is local, we give a one code. If the source is from outside the state, outside the country, we give different codes. All materials are divided into 100 basic classification based on purchase and procurement consideration. For instance, bolt is listed as hardware item if this is listed hardware catalogs and available with hardware supply. If this bolt is however available only as a part of the machines, it will be available under maintenance. If each class is divided into 10 subclasses, for example, 20 represents cutting tools, then 200 represents deals, reamers and counter bars. These steps can be understood. So in a Kodak system, what you do? We code on the basis of the purchase and procurement. Suppose bolt will be called as a hardware item if it is available with the hardware suppliers. So 0 to 20 raw materials, 21 to 35 machines and mechanical equipment, 36 to 40 mechanical process and loose tools, 41 to 49 electrical products and electrical equipment, 50 to 52 laboratory equipment, 53 to 68 chemicals equipment, miscellaneous chemical products, 69 to 78 office equipment and other miscellaneous items, 79 to 83 furniture and fixtures, 84 to 87 it may be fuel stock, and 88 to 93 semi-finished and finished product, and 94 to 99 is miscellaneous product. Then step 2 sub classification, 53 to 68 chemical equipments and miscellaneous. Second 2-digit subclass code materials, 53 tanks, 54 pumps, 55. Likewise, we go up to 63 sulfur. So 56, 57, 58, this particular number. So third digit is 0 to 9 subclass code materials, 066 and 600 is carbon oxide, 061 is sulfuric acid, 602 is sulfurous acid, 603 unassigned. Likewise, third digit 0 to 9 subclass code. This is how we code the items. Then step 4, the kind of may be further divided into different types. Then color coding. Generally, we code the items on the basis of color of the items. Say red, blue, green, electrical, red, green. Then drawbacks, sometimes codes become complicated, so like tolerance level, wrong codifications. It may be confusing to the various vendors. Then standardization is the process of formulating and applying the rules for. Thank you very much. We'll discuss tomorrow.